All right, so former Prime Minister Stephen Harper is suddenly a Bitcoin bull. Is that it? He's into crypto, he's into altcoins. He's singing the praises of the industry here in this most recent interview with Jay Martin of Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. Well, not really. Look, it was much more of a nuanced discussion, and despite what some of the headlines are saying, unfortunately, there's a lot of sensationalism right now. Mr. Harper had some positive things to say about Bitcoin, but he also said that nothing's going to replace the US dollar as the world reserve currency anytime soon, especially since the next in line are the euro and the Chinese yuan. So a little bit more of a nuanced reality to this. We'll take a look at it. But, in my opinion, the good news is really on the investment front here. We're seeing more and more firms putting more and more money into DeFi, into decentralized finance, which, as you can see here on DeFi Pulse, has really weathered the recent storm quite well. We did see a little bit of a dip in terms of TVL based on this last retracement here, but now we've recovered and then some. So that's a figure that keeps rising. China's blockchain service network, they're talking about more and more integration with the People's Bank of China regarding a central bank digital currency. They've outlined their 2021 outlook based on 4 major ecosystem pillars. Then we have more good news kind of at the casual level with Chiliz, with sporting. AC Milan now is going to be introducing a new token. That's major news. One of the biggest franchises in the world, one of the biggest sporting clubs in the world now entering this blockchain space along with others. It's now kind of becoming, normal to a certain extent. So that's fantastic to see. Tomochain is in the news, as is Enjin. They're partnering with Miss Bitcoin in efforts to raise money for a COVID charity. Mitsubishi is in the news as well, as is Coinbase, with additional funding for a MENA, that's a Middle Eastern and North African initiative. Guys, there's so much happening in this space, it's almost difficult to keep up with, but we endeavor to bring you the most important news here on a daily basis. So if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, be sure to like and to subscribe to Altcoin Buzz. Okay, so we're starting with this story here, courtesy of the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, which happened yesterday. This was streamed out of the Cambridge House International YouTube channel. There was this sit-down interview between Jay Martin and former Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper. And, he was asked some questions about CBDCs, about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And I just feel like a lot of the press outlets are running away with these stories about how, we've gotten this endorsement from a major former national head of state. It's just not the case, if you actually dig into it. First of all, it's a long discussion. They spoke for more than just 30 seconds or so. And like anything, reality is a little bit more nuanced. So here's the breakdown on Cointelegraph.com. Former Canadian Prime Minister names Bitcoin as possible reserve currency. I wouldn't be that generous in my headline personally, but here's what happened. In an interview with investment service Cambridge House's Jay Martin, again at the VRIC, the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, Harper said the possibility of the US dollar being replaced could only come from a large currency like the euro or the Chinese yuan. He also said that those two options weren't realistic, and therefore a replacement outright of the USD wasn't something that he envisioned. He expressed his doubts either of them would be a viable alternative given the long-term uncertainty over the value of the euro and the, quote, arbitrary measures the Chinese government would take regarding the value of the yuan. Quote, it's hard to see what the alternative is to the US dollar as the world's major reserve currency. Other than gold, Bitcoin, a whole basket of things, I think you'll see the number of things that people use as reserves will expand, but the US dollar will still be the bulk of it. And the former prime minister also added that he thought central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, were to some degree inevitable, but would likely be subject to monetary policy around the world. Harper said that he was concerned about central banks becoming kind of general bankers rather than just financial monitors, something that would affect the rollout of any CBDC. Quote, ultimately, if you have a digital currency and the purpose of the central bank is to control inflation and create a stable currency and priceability, then digital currency is just kind of an evolution of the marketplace. But if it's part of a series of what I think are wild experiments as to the role of central banking, then it does worry me a lot. So look, it's very common in this space for those of you that are new to cryptocurrency, anybody that's prominent either presently or formerly in politics, just mentioning the word Bitcoin or altcoins, whether it's Ethereum, Litecoin, or any other number of projects, you're going to get a lot of sensationalized headlines in this space. And reality is often more complex than a 6 or 7 word headline. In this case, yes, the former prime minister did mention Bitcoin, but he also expressed kind of his lack of confidence in its ability to take on the USD, at least for now. So look, I'm just trying to keep it honest with you guys. That's my interpretation. That's my assessment of the situation. Maybe he'll do some more research and come out with a subsequent statement. But as of right now, kind of much ado about nothing when it comes to this story. So not really quite the big deal that people are making it out to be. There are some relatively bigger deals happening right now behind the scenes, starting with this here on Cointelegraph.com. SBF leads $50 million funding round to bring DeFi to Maps.me's 140 million users. So a travel and mapping application, again, with 140 million users worldwide, they've raised $50 million to integrate decentralized finance or DeFi protocols into their platform. Maps.me 2.0 aims to be a wide-ranging application featuring travel guides, hotel bookings, and mapping services, in addition to exchange features and a multi-currency crypto asset wallet offering annual yields up to 8%. Alex Grebnev, the co-founder of Maps.me 2.0, told Cointelegraph that users will be able to generate yield on their savings by directly lending it out securely to borrowers. Quote, "We also plan to give our users the ability to trade a wide range of assets that are not limited by geographical boundaries or transaction size." I bring this up because DeFi, although we took, just a little bit of a hit ever so slightly with this kind of most recent Bitcoin consolidation, we did top up at about 42K, then came all the way back down to 30, and have kind of been oscillating in that 10 or 12K range. And as such, you can see that DeFi did take a little bit of a hit. But just like that, we got back up on the horse and we're at new all-time highs for the TVL metric here, the total value locked, now just below $25 billion. I see this figure easily going into the 3-figure, so 100 billion plus range this year, and perhaps much higher next year, and certainly this decade. So there's more and more happening behind the scenes in terms of investment, in terms of just traditional companies that are integrating, like Maps.me, some form of DeFi into their product offering, because why not? You also have a lot happening kind of at the more macro level, even beyond the institutional level, kind of the national CBDC macroeconomic level. China's blockchain-based service network here to integrate central bank digital currencies. We're talking about the BSN, and they expect to complete integrations with a total of 30 public blockchains this year. And these guys mean business here. Taking a look on medium.com at their 2021 outlook. In 2021, BSN will proliferate and continuously trailblaze a new path for blockchain practitioners in an open and inclusive way. So this year, BSN will keep investing heavily in R&D, enabling new features and functions on BSN products, and launch several critical projects and partnerships to accelerate the mass adoption of blockchain technology worldwide. And in particular, they're looking at 4 paths in pursuit of their 2021 roadmap. They're starting with building a digital currency payment network. They're also going to continue to expand the BSN network via PCNs, via portals, and via frameworks. Number 3, as a priority, they're going to be promoting the private BSN and the empowerment platform. And they're aiming to flourish the BSN ecosystem here, which, as you can see, according to their own definition, consists of frameworks, BSN teams, developers, cloud services, and BSN portals. So in 2021, the BSN Development Association will establish a comprehensive and mature training system in China to upskill more individuals and organizations to embed blockchain technologies into traditional information systems that make the real economy more cost-effective and foster a new round of technological innovation. So that BSN news covers the macro. Let's zoom in a little bit on the more casual side of things. We have this development with Chiliz and Alexander Dreyfus. AC Milan, one of the largest football clubs and biggest brands in the world, they've employed blockchain to now reach 450 million fans amid COVID lockdowns. European football giants AC Milan are the latest major sporting institution to employ blockchain-based fan tokens in a bid to reach 450 million fans. Here's the latest on Medium.com. AC Milan to join sports crypto movement with launch of ACM Fan Token. The 7-time Champions League winners, in partnership with Chiliz, have announced they will launch the ACM Fan Token on fan engagement and rewards platform Socios.com. As you guys likely know, fan token owners can access benefits including voting rights in club polls, VIP rewards, superfan recognition, club and sponsor promotions, games, and chat forums. At the time of this press, AC Milan joins a list of 19 major sporting organizations who have partnered with Socios.com to launch fan tokens, including FC Barcelona, Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain, AS Roma, Atletico de Madrid, Galatasaray, and Trabzonspor. That was a tough one to read. Leading esports organizations Team Heretics, Navi, OG, and Alliance have all launched fan tokens on the platform, while UFC have signed a global fan engagement agreement, and fellow MMA organization, the Professional Fighters League, will launch a fan token in the coming months. More major clubs are also set to launch fan tokens in the near future. Alexander Dreyfus, the CEO and founder of Chiliz and Socios.com, said, "I'm delighted to welcome AC Milan and their 450 million fans from across the world to Socios.com. Fans of E. Rossoneri will be able to enjoy unprecedented engagement with their favorite team, influencing the club in polls, accessing VIP rewards, exclusive promotions, chat forums, and much more." And, I've made, the observation before, guys. I think this is still very early stages, not only for Chiliz, but really for this, burgeoning industry, if you want to call it, the fan engagement sporting industry, because we are, for the most part, very much still in lockdown. There are certain sports that, of course, are continuing. Leagues are still effectively active. But this is a low point globally when it comes to sports. And yet the success is still here. The traction is still something that exists right now, even under these, less than ideal situations. Can you imagine in a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, presumably the world opens back up and is normal again? I guess eventually it will be. But, can you imagine how much potential this has once we resume kind of, normal sporting tendencies and we're able to fill stadiums again and engagement is back to normal? So is interest, by the way, in a lot of these sports. Like I said, I think we're really in very, very early stages right now. So kudos to Alex and the team. Very well done indeed. This update here from Tomochain at Tomochain. With the latest upgrade, anyone can issue a wrapped ERC20 token via Tomo Issuer, add it to Tomo Bridge for other users to access and wrap or unwrap. Let's follow Tomochain's steps and reach for a cross-chain DeFi future. And if you'd like a breakdown or a more of a step-by-step guide as to what this process entails, you can check out the instructional video here on YouTube that is linked to in this tweet. Enjin is in the news. At Enjin, we are excited and honored to partner with Miss Bitcoin Mai to launch Japan's first NFT charity initiative through the Kizuna project. Kizuna will use art NFTs created by Japanese celebrities to raise funds for nonprofit organizations. And the first nonprofit organization, very fittingly, is a COVID initiative. So you can read about that here on missbitcoin.medium.com. Miss Bitcoin and Enjin partnered to launch Japan's first charity NFT project. I and Enjin partnered to launch Japan's first non-fungible token charity project through Kizuna. And the initiative's first campaign will use tokenized art to raise funds for DXP, an Osaka-based nonprofit providing aid to teenagers facing challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic. Here now is a loose segue from that last story talking about Japan to this one on Cointelegraph.com. Mitsubishi and Tokyo Tech create blockchain system for P2P energy trading. This is going to be beginning in April. The electronics giant and university R&D team will evaluate and tweak the new trading system's performance before commercialization. I don't want to dive into this story, but this again is just one more example about firms that maybe never really saw a need for blockchain or a presence in the crypto space. All of a sudden, the use cases are starting to build, and they're realizing that more than ever, you almost can't afford not to be in this space. So Mitsubishi and Tokyo Tech, very good news indeed. We're also seeing fundraising efforts really across the world increasing. Coinbase has joined the $6 million funding round for licensed Middle East exchange Rain Financial. This is a MENA initiative, MENA, that's Middle East and North Africa. The $6 million Series A round was led by Middle Eastern VC firm MEVP Capital. And we do have here, unfortunately, a little bit of negative news here. I don't want to keep it from you, especially in the event that we have some members of the Altcoin Buzz army that were affected. We had this Livecoin exchange piece that we touched on back in December. Now we have this follow-up here. Again, not really good news, but you should know about it. After alleged hack, Russian crypto exchange Livecoin shuts down. Russian cryptocurrency exchange Livecoin has announced a full shutdown following an alleged hack which happened in December of 2020. Hopefully you were not affected by this, but in case you were, you can check out on livecoin.net their full press release and information as far as what you should be doing for next steps. So again, hopefully you weren't affected, but if you were, I'd like to direct you to these resources. Check it out. We'll link to this, of course, in the description below. Let's end with a little bit of positive news here. Big institutions are only apparently interested in Bitcoin. That's according to the CEO of New York Dig, NYDIG. I'm not sure how to say that, but 100 of the latest conversations I've had with investors seriously looking to allocate, let's say, over $50 million. 100% of those conversations have been about Bitcoin and 0% of them have been about any other crypto assets. That is according to Robert Gutman, the CEO of NYDIG, Chief Executive Officer. That's interesting. It's a little bit surprising to me, not to hear about the enthusiasm for Bitcoin, but we've seen out of Grayscale and other similar custodial services that you do have institutions that are seriously looking at Ethereum. So I do find this statistic a little bit surprising, maybe a little bit too anecdotal for my liking, but no, look, it's still a good omen for Bitcoin. Anthony Scaramucci here backing it up. We at Skybridge are also focused exclusively on Bitcoin and feel it will be the big winner. FWIW, most institutions we talk to have a similar view. All right, fair enough. CZ Binance here to close things off. Maybe I'm too used to being in the deep end, but does anyone who actually understands crypto think Bitcoin or crypto will go away? Don't you wish people stop talking badly about things they don't understand? Yes. If only. I think we can all sympathize here with the sentiment. All right, that about wraps it up for this Monday, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell, of course, to receive notifications if you enjoyed today's video. Best of luck if you do choose to invest on this Monday. I'm wishing you a terrific start to your week. Stay safe out there, everybody. And as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.